Hello and welcome to another episode of BNEWS Sports Hub. I'm your host, Anthony Matos, filling in for Liz Gillespie. This month we head to Varsity Park to check out girls' varsity tennis team. We will have a conversation with head coach Anthony Moschetto and senior captain Liz Gillespie. We will also have our player spotlight and a Red Devil review with Robert Paris. And that's all right here, right now on BNEWS Sports Hub. To jumpstart our conversation, we will offer you a little refresher of the team. We now go to BNews Sports reporter Robert Paris for our Red Devil review.
Hey everyone, I'm Robert Paris with your Red Devil review. Things are starting to head in the right direction as the 2021 spring season at BHS is the first regular sports season with a full schedule since the start of the pandemic. One BHS team that's enjoying the full schedule is girls tennis, and they're having a great season. Let's take a look back, and to do so, we need to go back to 2019 because as we all know, unfortunately, there wasn't a season in 2020. 2019 started with a new head coach, Anthony Moschetto, after head coach Chris Sweeney stepped down. Sweeney brought positive energy and great feedback to the players, leaving the team in a good place for Moschetto to step in. The team not only had a positive regular season with 12 wins and 5 losses, but 4 players were Freedom Division All-Stars and 1 MVP. Freedom Division All-Stars from that year were sophomore Liz Gillespie, senior Jess Abreva, junior Niti Siriram, and sophomore Casey Pustizi. The Freedom Division MVP and All-Conference went to senior captain Madison Metzdorf, and she was given the Outstanding Female Student Athlete Award at the BHS Athletic Banquet. The team did get an opportunity to host a playoff match against Concord Carlisle in the first round of the MIAA state tournament at Varsity. Burlington came up short with a 1-4 loss against their opponent, ending their season. Madison Metzdorf and Jess Abreva were the only seniors to depart from the team that season. In 2020, senior Niti Siriram and Neha Panke departed from the team, sadly missing their final season to play with their fellow Lady Devils. As the 2021 season began, the girls had not played a complete match in 2 years. It was a rocky start for everyone, but as the season progressed, the Red Devils were back on track. With the current standings of 6-1, the team currently found their rhythm. Burlington had wins against the Wilmington Wildcats, the Stoneham Spartans, and Wakefield Warriors, and suffered its only loss to the Melrose Red Raiders. The Middlesex League 12 tournament will begin on June 8th with an additional MIAA tourney the week after. So stay tuned to bcattv.org/bnewsports to see which Lady Devils will be competing. Graduating seniors from this year's team are Captain Liz Gillespie, Casey Pustizi, Sam Matai, Ari Karam Pecos, and Shannon Joyce. And that is all for your Red Devil review. I'm Robert Paris. Back to you, Anthony.
I'm here with Coach Anthony Moschetto. Tony, how are you today?
Good, how you doing? It's great to be here.
I know. How did you get the opportunity to coach in Burlington?
It was really simple. These websites I visit that have job opportunities, and I just happened to catch Burlington High School, so I went for it.
There you go.
And I didn't think I was going to get it. I had an interview and everything. Burlington's a pretty prestigious program tennis-wise, and there's a lot of applicants, and I didn't hear, but as it worked out, I got the gig. It's great.
Where did you coach before?
I was at Lawrence High School. That's 2 years before that. I was there for 2 years, but I've been all over the place. I coached college before that. I was at Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston. I was the men's coach and assistant women's coach there. I also had a stint at Bentley as the assistant men's and women's coach, and I pretty much coached in almost every school in the Cape Ann League. And yeah.
Talk about the 2020 season that didn't happen.
We were undefeated. It was a great year. No, it was weird. It was 2020 is like you didn't know what to expect. We went in. It just kept getting delayed every 2 weeks, and we were hoping that things would just kind of work its way out, but it never did. We didn't know what was going on. So it's good that health-wise that we didn't have it. It's unfortunate for the seniors last year, but it was what it was. It happened, and you just kind of move on from it.
What were your thoughts on not having a season last year?
Well, at first I was a little, it was more like I was bummed out more than anything, especially for the seniors. But you understand what, you look at the whole scope of it, what's going on. You're like, all right, we'll just, flatten the curve. That was the motto last year. But it makes this season even better.
Yep.
To be back out in the court.
How many seniors graduated from that 2020 class?
Well, 2 that I know of. I think there was Needy and Neha, and then there was about 4 or 5 other girls that graduated, but there was 2 varsity for sure, that graduated last year.
How did the underclassmen bounce back from the 2020 season?
Really well. When I saw the last I saw, like Liz and like Annabelle Willie and Haley Doiron, they were freshmen. Liz was a sophomore, and then coming into this season, it's such a stark contrast in how people, you're young and you mature, and when you're not around it, it seems like a really big deal, and that's kind of what happened this year. Everyone that came in, the underclassmen and the seniors, really, I don't know, it's just like a big difference in their maturity and their calmness, and it was really wonderful to kind of witness.
What are practices like?
Well, I try to have as much fun as I can out there, but I try to make it, fun and competitive, and we work on I try to work on strategy. I work a little bit on technique, not a lot, but it's mainly like strategy, doing drills, working on consistency, things like that. And there's a game that they play called Java, which they love, and it kind of, I think that was the bonding moment this year when we had that game.
How did it feel to have a full season again?
Man, it feels great. It really does. And I realized, I think just yesterday, how much I needed it to be out there. I really, it feels awesome. It really does.
So just talk about the leaders on the team.
The leaders, we have our captain, Liz Gillespie, who you know. You're filling in for today. She's great. And I'd say her and the other seniors, really, they lead by example. They're quiet leaders, I would say. And Liz is one. Liz came in, when I was talking about like maturing and being calm and stuff like that. She made like a jump in that, and I think that has really lent itself, like her being more seasoned or whatever. I keep saying mature. I think that's lent itself to her leadership and her leadership style. So she's been great. She's been the other girls love her. like I said, they really lead by example, and they go about their business like in a really professional, varsity level, and it really rubs off on the younger girls.
What are some of the strategies you teach them? Because you said before that you are like a strategy coach.
Yeah, I'm trying to like talk about patterns. So patterns when you play, where you hit the ball, which direction, and I'm trying to really teach what you hit your opponent, what it's going to cause them to react a certain way, and to really be aware of that and know what's coming back at you. And then doubles wise, I'm trying to institute some plays, just simple little, if you hit the ball here, it's like what I just said, like you hit in a certain direction or a certain target, it's going to come back in a certain way, and what to look for and things like that, just to be aware of, to read the ball and see where, to predict where it's going to be. Mainly.
The team is currently 7-1. Just talk about everyone's work ethic.
Yeah, I think from jump, right? As soon as everyone got out there, it was just 100 miles an hour. Because I think everyone was so psyched to be out there. We started in late April, so the weather was on our side. But everyone, they really come to play and really to work, and they take what I say to them and the drills and stuff to heart. And I mean, like this week, we're 7-1. We lost to Melrose, but we bounced back the next day. We lost on Wednesday, but we bounced back and won, to split the season. And I think that the girls, all their work and how they kind of approach it, we were able to bounce back and get the win, because they all played really hard for 2 days, but they have a lot of pride, and a lot of heart.
Let's check out this month's Player Spotlight featuring Liz Gillespie.
Hi, I'm Liz Gillespie, and this is BNEWS Sports Hub's Player Spotlight. So I think it was around the time that I was 6. I took swimming lessons at a place in Lexington, and they offered tennis, and I kind of got involved weirdly because there was a hallway that I wanted to know what was down the hallway, and there was a sign that said, "Do you want to play?" And so I told my parents about how I wanted to go down that hallway specifically. And so they were like, "We're going to sign you up for tennis lessons." And I got involved, and then I started on their competitive team when I was 10, and now I'm on the high school team here.
So Liz is the captain, and since I saw her 2 years ago, she made an incredible jump in her confidence and in maturity as a person. I think that with the new confidence and maturing as a person, it's really lent itself to her leadership. And the girls really look up to her, and I love having her on the team, and it's bittersweet. She's a senior, and I'm glad she's moving on, but you don't get someone like that all the time on the team.
It's a very fun environment. We all love to be around each other and have fun with each other. It's also a very competitive environment. We all push each other to play as hard as we can, and it's its own experience for tennis, because there's only one team. There's no varsity team, there's no JV team. We all practice together. So it's really a fun experience knowing the freshmen that are with you, because I think there's other sports that don't have nearly the same experience. So as one team, one collective team, it's just an incredible experience having everyone together.
Well, it's been a modified season. We're just playing in our division. The girls playing great, but overall, I'm really happy with the progress of the team, and it's showing a lot of improvement as the days go along. And we're getting ready for the postseason, and we have a Middlesex League tournament this year, so really looking forward to that.
My time at Rohannes has been absolutely incredible. I've loved almost everyone that I've played with. It's been an honor to play on varsity for 3 years, would have been 4 years, but it was weird to not have a season my junior year, but growing from playing third singles as a freshman to playing second singles as a sophomore, and then now as a senior playing first singles, it's absolutely phenomenal. And the incredible part is seeing the people that I'm taking the place of, Maddie and Aria from my freshman year, and now seeing people that were just starting when I was a freshman now growing and playing varsity as well. It's truly incredible.
It's probably the greatest feeling, coming out here. It was, it wasn't fun last year, sure. But coming out here, I think this is what we needed. And especially the girls or all the kids, they definitely need that that annual routine of coming out and playing tennis. And it really normalized everything. And I think it's just, I think that's what we needed at this time.
It was really hard not playing for almost an entire year. I played a little bit, but not enough to really think that I've knocked any rust off before I got here. I played like one match back in August in the Rohannes Open, but it really wasn't enough. So I feel like I came into the season almost blind, because tennis is one of those sports that if you don't play for a while, you kind of lose your timing. So losing it for an entire year before I got back was a little hard to readjust, especially if I was playing a little bit indoors and a little bit outdoors. Those are two completely different sports, basically. So it was really weird to come back and basically come into a season blind.
What I'll miss most, obviously is, she's a best player on the team. So you're losing a first singles player, which I'll miss. But the other thing is, she's just a great person. She's funny, she makes me laugh, and everyone loves her. And like I said, everyone looks up to her. And it's just going to be, it's a personality that's not going to be here. Like the biggest kind of thing we'll miss.
That was beautifully put together, Tony.
That was great. That was very well.
So I just have one personal question. How do the matches work?
How the matches work?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you mean talking about the format?
Yeah.
Well, we play 3 singles. Oh, I look like I was coaching out there, huh?
You were.
Like the cap.
Yeah.
It's my style. I wear that cap during matches like that, just to, good luck.
Yeah. No, I get it.
No, but the matches are, it's 3 singles and 2 doubles, so it's a total of 5. So you need to win 3 matches, yeah. You can't, in some leagues you can repeat, like you have 6 singles and 3 doubles, and the singles can play doubles as well. They can repeat, yeah. But in our league, it's just, 3 singles, 2 doubles. They play 2 out of 3 sets, regular scoring.
Okay.
And, yeah.
What are you looking forward to for the playoffs? I know it's very hyped.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing some of the teams in the other division. That's what I'm looking forward to most.
Melrose seemed like a tough opponent. You want redemption?
What's that?
You want redemption versus Melrose?
Yeah, well, we kind of got our redemption. We beat them the next day, so which is good. But if we play them again in the playoffs, we want to knock them out. They've been our toughest opponent so far. They're similar to us because 2 years ago, they had four of their starters are back, and they're including the number 1
player.
Yeah.
So
I knew going in there would be a tough opponent, and they would match up with us well, and they did. But some girl like Casey Pustizzi really came through in the second match. She was down She was down 1-5, and she came back and won that set 7-5, and then won the second set. So that was huge. You know, it was very clutch, and hopefully in the playoffs, like a match like that, like against Melrose, two matches that kind of get us match tough and give one of those other schools, like the bigger schools, or was that smaller schools? I don't know. I forget. I don't know if they're the bigger division or the small, whatever. But give them a hard time.
So is Melrose the toughest opponent you faced in all your years of coaching? Or
No, not in all my years of coaching. No, this season, under the format we're playing in our division, yeah, that they've been our toughest. I think over the years, like teams in the other division, like Lexington is always like there's always a powerhouse. In Winchester, of course, Belmont's good. In another league that I coached in Andover, we had to play Andover, and they're stacked every year, just insane. So there's one school. I'm trying to think, like, I've never like beaten like I've come close to beating like a powerhouse, but it's never been. Hopefully in the future that can happen.
So a powerhouse, by your definition, is what?
Is a school that's like annually they just reload and they're the top of the league like every year.
What was the hardest part of the season? This season?
Of this season?
Yes.
I think I wish I had more time to work with some of the girls, like with technique and just more in depth and with the tennis. It's hard to find any negative aspects about this year because like we didn't play last year, so I think it's all been good, as far as this year. I don't have any complaints at all. Yeah.
You have maskless masters now.
Yeah.
Could you just talk a little bit about that?
It feels great. I mean, they playing in a mask. It's doable, right? But there's freedom without a mask while you're working out or exerting yourself. And the weather's the other day it was in the 90s, so it would have been hard with the mask. But I think we're lucky how things are going right now, how things are trending. So I think it's a testament to, the vaccines, people adhering to the mask thing, wearing masks before. So I think it's a good reward. I feel like we've been rewarded for
good behavior.
Yeah, basically for good behavior.
Do you see the pandemic ending?
I hope so. I hope it. I mean, things are trending well right now, and yeah, I hope you have to have faith in our fellow human beings, and that's all I'll have to say on that one.
How many seniors are graduating?
We have five.
Five.
Five seniors.
How have those seniors helped throughout the season?
Well, they have been. They've been very, as far as playing wise, they've been really consistent. But they've also been consistent as far as having a great attitude, showing up on time, really, setting a good example for the underclassmen, in being really good teammates to each other. And I think everyone's on the same page on the team, and I really believe everyone gets along with each other and likes each other, and I think that makes things a lot simpler, and it makes things a lot more fun. And I think they bonded. You've heard a team has its identity. Yeah. Well, we found it it took a few weeks, you know, but as soon as everyone kind of relaxed and stuff and got to know each other, you know, you can see the fruit of it. Yeah.
Do you participate in the Rohannes Open?
I do.
You do?
I do, yeah.
What's that like?
It was fun. Like, the first year I made it to the second round. Last year I got bounced in the first round. But I've been playing a lot. And I want to play in this year, and I want to make it to my goal is to make it to the finals and win it.
Totally really cool.
Yeah.
Did you want to play like for the U.S., like against Federer and all them?
There was a point in my life, you know, when I was in college and stuff. Like, yeah, I had aspirations of being a pro, and I played a lot, and I had a coach that he worked with me, and yeah, I tried to reach a high level. You know, I don't know. You know, tennis has so many levels, and
Yep.
there's so many good players, but I would have loved to played someone that caliber. You know, it'd be insane.
Is there anything you'll miss from the seniors this year?
I'll miss their their leadership. You know, everyone has their own personality. Just you know, that alone. And yeah, they're just really nice girls, and they're talented, and yeah, the whole like vibe and stuff. Yeah, I'll miss that about them.
What are you looking forward to in the off season?
Just personally, like I just want to play a lot, and I'm hoping that some of the other girls are inspired to pursue like some lessons or play as much as they can, and just having a good healthy off season and an end to all this nonsense, and hopefully things really improve big time.
Would you invite the seniors back to give a couple pointers to freshmen next year?
Oh yeah, my policy is anyone that's graduated, any alumni like in the team, they're always welcome to hang out and hit with the girls if they want. That's like an open invitation, yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
We will be right back with senior captain Liz Gillespie.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your dog walker,
On your left.
your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys, preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. Ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
I want to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
And welcome back. I am here with Senior Captain Liz Gillespie. Liz, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good. How did you end up becoming a tennis player?
So it's kind of a dumb story, but in the context of me being 6 years old, it makes sense. I took swimming lessons at a gym in Lexington, and there was a hallway that I just kind of wanted to know what was down, and there was a sign next to it that said, "Do you want to play?" And after one of my lessons, I told my parents, "Hey, I want to know what's down that hallway." And so they were like, "Okay, we're going to sign you up for tennis lessons." And I started, and I really enjoyed being around the coaches that I had there. And so I just kept doing it. And then by the time I was 10, they had a competitive league that was playing out of the same gym. And so my parents were like, "You've been doing this for long enough. You can go join the competitive league." I did that for several years. And then when it came to high school, I knew that I had to join the team.
What do you like about tennis? What sparks you?
It's incredibly competitive, and it's very high scoring. It's not one of the games where it's like you could end with a 1-1 score. Mm-hmm. It's something that you have to be active in the entire time. But it's also an individual sport, so you're the one that's doing everything. Yeah. You've got to be on top of everything while you're doing it. You're the one that's going to hit the next ball. Even in doubles, you have to know that the ball's coming to you next, because you have to be active the entire time. It's also very fast-paced. It's not as much running up and down a field. Yep. You're on your side. You know what you need to get done, and that's how you play.
How have your first 4 years in the team been?
My 4 years in the team have been super fun. 3 years would have been 4. They would have all been fantastic. I've loved all the people I've played with. Every team has been its own unique experience with every new person that's been there. All the people that have been graduating, they've all been fantastic. We all have had a great time being competitive with each other and having fun with each other. Yeah, it's been great.
What was it like not having a junior year for tennis?
It was kind of devastating. The day we got the call, I kind of knew that there wasn't going to be a tennis season. That was, I think, the first thing I thought of right after I got the call. We got that on a Thursday, and it was like, oh, tennis is supposed to start Monday. It's not going to happen. So, and it was kind of, the hardest part was, everyone knows this. We all lost our motivation during the pandemic.
Yep.
Nobody was doing anything. And so I think there was a point in time where they locked the Rahanis courts. And so I think my mom and I went out and hit once before that happened. And then once they locked up, it was hard to find the motivation to go out and do anything. And so after a while, it was kind of, okay, I'm becoming sluggish. I'm losing my own motivation to do things. And then it kind of came to a point where I had my volleyball season coming up, and I was like, uh-oh, I haven't hit a tennis ball in a very long time. That's not a good thing. So it kind of felt like I was going into the season blind. It was really hard to kind of adjust myself mentally. It's like, okay, you're about to play tennis after not playing tennis for a very long time.
Do you play in your backyard during the pandemic?
Not really, no. I probably should have, because I have a big enough backyard that I probably could have, but I tried to get to Rahanis a couple times. There's also been a couple of courts. There's a place in Bedford called Wedgwood that I've played at with one of my coaches a few times, and that was kind of what kicked me into overdrive to really know that I was going to get ready for the season. That probably would have been a good idea, though.
Just talk about adjusting to the coaching change in 2019.
My freshman year season, we had Sweeney as our coach, and he was fantastic. He was all over the place. He had a ton of energy. He was a coach. He knew everybody what their strengths and weaknesses were mentally. He knew what was motivating everyone while they were playing, because our first singles player my freshman year, she would get mad at herself, and that's how she would hype herself up. Our second singles person needed to be told jokes in order to get out of her own head, and I just needed a quick distraction. Mm-hmm. And he would always tell people that. And then once Tony came in, it was a different environment. It didn't decrease, though. he still kept everything fun. But he needed a little bit of time to learn who everybody was a little bit. And as the season progressed, he knew what everybody needed. And you could tell that he was very passionate about learning who everybody was, what their strengths and weaknesses were. And he definitely wanted everybody to play at a higher level, which was what was different from Sweeney. Was he clearly knew the game, he really enjoyed playing the game, but he was more of a motivator than somebody who was actually coaching, which is what Tony really brought to the table. And he really wanted you to play at a higher level, and you could tell that his passion for not only the team, but the sport itself was really helpful for everyone.
What's it like working with Tony?
Oh, it's great. He wants everybody, like I said, he wants everybody to play at a higher level, and he is working with anybody he can individually to really make sure that he can really push everybody to play. He takes us singles players to do our own thing. He talks about strategies with us like he's talked to you about. He goes over and talks about doubles. Even some of us singles players have learned double strategy just because it will translate over into singles games. He's also done the same thing vice versa, where some of the doubles players have played some singles matches to learn some strategy there. He is through and through passionate about what he's doing, and he definitely wants everybody to have a good time while they're doing it as well. He knows that some of us can really get in our heads very easily, and he wants everybody to know that while obviously there is pressure because it's a competitive environment, you're not the bad guy if you lose. There's always more points to play. You can keep going.
Do you like his coaching style?
I do. It took me a little bit to adjust to after having some... So Tony's main thing is mostly a strategy game. Yep. Some of the coaches that I've worked with in my off season, they're much more technical, where it's like, all right, so here's how you're going to hit a forehand and it's going to be much better. While Tony's like, all right, now you need to hit your forehand here. So it's a little different and it takes a little bit of time to adjust to, but in the grand scheme of things, it's definitely helpful when you're at a high level and you need to play against some of the more competitive teams.
So you are the team captain of the tennis team. Just talk a little bit about that and teaching like the younger guys.
When I went into the season, I kind of saw it as much more of a responsibility than it is. At the end of the day, you're still just a part of the team. You can go up and talk to the freshmen as if they're just somebody you've known this whole time. They're still your teammate, and while it is clear that they are looking up to you and kind of learning from you about what the team's like, what the sport's like, kind of what the environment's like, they're still just kind of your friends. There are clearly other responsibilities about being the captain where it's like you're the one announcing the lineups, you're the one creating the store for the team overall. There's a lot of things that go into being a captain that you're not doing as the rest of the team. But when you're actually with the rest of your team, a lot of it is just lead by example, make sure that you're being a good sport about everything you're doing. Try to be vocal, try to lead everybody, cheer everybody on. I think the best way to be a good captain is to know that, or is to show that you are on everybody's side.
So how do you think you personally is doing well? No, let me rephrase it. How well do you think you're doing this year, basically?
So in terms of like playing?
Yeah.
I would say that I'm having a great season. So far, as of recording this right now, I am personally undefeated. Okay. I've gone 8-0 throughout all the matches, and even some of the harder matches, it's not just because I walked in there and just got it done with. A lot of it is knowing what your competition is and then knowing the job you need to get done. Even some of the tougher matches like Melrose we had earlier in the week. First one we played was 95-degree heat in the sun, and it was the hardest competitor I'd had all year. Her serves were insane. She could just crush them at me. But I knew that I needed to think about what she was doing, what I was doing. A lot of it is staying cognizant of what you're doing in the moment. And when you kind of learn what you react to best and what they react to the worst, you kind of think about things more straightforwardly. It's, you know what you need to get done, and I feel like I've definitely gotten that much better this year. I've gotten in my head a lot in the past. I think Tony talked about that. My sophomore year, I'd get mad at myself instantly. Like, I would lose probably 1 or 2 games and I'd start telling myself that I was a failure or whatever. But this year it's a lot more of knowing that you have to persevere, knowing that no matter what conditions you're in, you have a job to get done. You have a game to win. And I've seen that from a lot of the other players as well. Especially in our singles lineup, they've had a few really tough close matches that they've needed to persevere through, but they've got their job done. So I think I've had a pretty strong season, and I think the rest of the team has as well.
Do you think you've gotten better from freshman year to senior year?
Oh, definitely. A lot of it is, when I was a freshman, I was playing third singles, and my first singles at the time, she was also first singles when I was a sophomore, Maddie Metzdorf. She could beat me in any game she wanted to. Like, I could be up 40-love in any game, and I think she would still beat me at any condition she wanted to. But I was always played against her because I was the one that was underneath her. So being put against the higher level of competition at all times just continues to push you to get even better. And even though I'm considered to be the highest player, I still see competition with the rest of my team. I don't just see myself as like I'm above everybody else. It's my second singles player, Casey. The two of us have had some battles of points. Like, the two of us are like playing against each other a lot. And it's not just like I'm ready to blow her out. She knows that she can fight against me as well. And she's improved a ton since freshman year as well. Third singles, Haley, she's improved a ton as well. And our entire lineup, especially people that were just starting when I was a freshman, have grown a long way to become at varsity. So I think all of us, throughout playing for all this time, even with a break in the middle of all of it with last year, we've all continued to play, push our hardest, and gotten to, I think, the best point we've been at so far.
Who was the hardest opponent you faced, like, throughout your entire career?
Throughout my entire career, for high school, either Winchester or Concord Carlisle. Winchester is in the other half of the league, so there's a chance that we could play them in the playoffs this year. And I think that would be a really tough matchup. I remember we came close to beating them a couple of years ago, but it was definitely still their game to win. And Concord Carlisle is not somebody that's in our league, but they're always absolutely stacked with their lineup. They come out swinging, they come out crushing. They're ready to beat you at a moment's notice. And I think we have a very strong team, but I know that they are even strong. They're incredibly competitive. They've always been.
Is your definition of stacked different from your coach's definition of stacked?
I'm not sure. I think how I see stacked is you have all the right people in the right places. And I think that we have a pretty stacked team, but in terms of Concord Carlisle, they probably have everybody in their singles lineup in the right place, and then you could probably keep going with their doubles lineup. Like, at a normal match lineup, you have 7 varsity players at one time. I'm sure that if they put in their top 10 players, they're still bound to win.
What was your reaction when the high school announced like a full sports season?
Oh, I was, like, for the entire...
Yes.
For tennis?
Just in general, just in sports in general.
Oh, I was psyched. I was so ready when I heard that fall seasons were coming back. I knew that led into that if fall went successfully, I knew we could get into winter successfully. And then knowing that we could do winter successfully, I knew that we could get into fall 2 successfully. And this isn't tennis related, but I play volleyball as well. And so when I saw that basketball was able to go successfully, I knew that volleyball could be played successfully. And the second volleyball started, I knew that tennis was going to be able to go successfully because volleyball is much higher of a risk than tennis is. And so knowing that if we could go all of these sports that are much higher risk than tennis is, I knew that we could go all the way to the end and get it done. Like that felt great knowing that we'd be able to do it.
Do you practice any strategies on and off the court?
On court, I practice a lot of shot placement. It's a lot of knowing where you want to hit your balls. I think there's a good amount of people that believe that if you can hit your shots harder, then it's going to be a lot better. But I disagree with that. I think while adding power to your shots can make things a lot more difficult. If you can hit a ball right over the net in the place that they can't hit it, that's going to beat you 9 times out of 10. And hitting you with so much more power is only going to get you probably 5 times out of 10. Because you never know when you're going to just blast a ball out. It's happened too many times. Yeah.
Have you ever participated in the Rohannes Open?
I have twice. This year in the 2020 season, the 2020 summer, I played just the singles match and I came in as a runner-up. And in my 2 years ago, before the pandemic, I came in as the singles champion for the women's, and then I also participated in doubles, and I don't remember how well I did, but I definitely didn't win.
Just talk about like the most difficult part of the season.
The most difficult part of the season this year is knowing that there is still uncertainty with what's going to happen. Because of, I don't think a lot of it is, I don't think the season's going to get canceled, knock on wood. But I think the biggest thing is knowing that there are still scheduling challenges that can happen. Between AP exams, weather, just any other things that you can't control, anything could happen. We had to move the Melrose match from a day that would have had good weather to probably the most miserable weather we'd have all year. So there's still kind of, and I know we're scheduled to play Watertown next week, and I think it's supposed to rain the day that we're supposed to play. So I don't know when exactly that match is supposed to happen. So a lot of it is, and in terms of the pandemic as well, I still, with some of the away matches, you're kind of like, okay, do we have to wear masks at this place? Are they okay with us not wearing masks? I remember when we went to Wakefield, it was like, okay, we don't know what their rules are. Do we need to bring it? Do we need to not? I know for home games what it is now, but for away games, there's still kind of the uncertainty of what are they expecting from us.
What are you looking forward to in the playoffs this year?
In the playoffs, definitely playing some of the towns that we didn't play in our own league. Like I said, I played out of Lexington for a very long time, so I know, or at least I used to know, a good amount of people that play out of the Lexington team. So in the past, it was definitely seeing a lot of my friends that I knew on that team, and especially, I think 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to play against one of my friends, and the two of us just battled it out. We made it to a third set. So a lot of it is knowing that you're adding an extra level of competition, and you're not just seeing the same people that you've seen. Because with the regular season playing everybody back to back, you know exactly who you're going to play the next day. But with the new towns, you're playing new people.
What are you going to miss from the tennis team?
From the team? Definitely the experience of playing with the people that I'm playing with. A couple of the juniors I've gone out and played with on my own time. Annabelle, we've played together for years. We played as a league out of Lexington, and I'll definitely miss playing with the people that I'm playing with. There's certain people that I only got to play with for high school, and I have loved playing with them. And especially with the tennis team as an experience, it's playing with the freshmen as well. It's playing with the freshmen, playing with sophomores, juniors, and seniors. It's like for volleyball, you've got the freshman team, you've got the JV team, and you've got the varsity team. And so this year, since there wasn't a ton of mingling between the teams, I didn't really know any of the freshmen on the volleyball team. But with the tennis team, I know who all the freshmen are. I talk to them on a daily basis, and I get to play with them. It's a very cool experience knowing everybody that you're playing with, and you're all having a good time together.
What have you taken away from like the younger kids and Coach Tony?
That there are always more points to play. It's not over until it's over. Once you reset yourself, you're fine. You can always keep going.
What are you going to do after high school?
So next year, I'm going to UC Davis. I'm majoring in biomedical engineering. My plan is to most likely play club tennis. I don't have any definite plans yet, mostly because I'm moving across the country, so I don't want to just throw everything against the wall already, but I'm definitely not going to drop tennis. I have played tennis too long to just say I'm done.
Is that in California?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Liz. That's all for this month of BNEWS Sports Hub. I'd like to thank my guests, head coach Tony Moschetto and Liz Gillespie. I'd like to also thank you all for watching. I'm Anthony Matos, and we will see you next time on BNEWS Sports Hub.